Week 7 of the NFL season is here. Today I got 4 picks for you all. I got 2 game picks plus 2 more player props, including 1.5 unit play, my biggest play of the weekend. Let's go 4-0. But first, before we do that, let's recap how we did on Thursday night. It was a 1-1 day, if you will. We had Evan Ingram over 4.5 receptions. We did sprinkle on a 6+, which he ended with 5, obviously. Tough break. He had 4 in the first half, only could get 1 more. Then we had Saints money line. They had plenty of chances to get it done. They just could not get it done. The game picks have had a slow start to the year. Let's turn it up a notch. We got 2 in this video. Let's go 2-0 plus cash in our other props, which we quietly been on a little bit of a good run in those player props. Let's hopefully continue that this weekend. We'll have a full separate video for more player props on Saturday, so definitely check out that video. I'll post it at the end of this one once it is live. But a great place to play those props, well, it's Underdog Fantasy, and they have 3 great things going on right now. Number 1, as I see listed on the screen, they have a LeBron James free square for Tuesday night's NBA action, the return of the NBA. We do daily best bets NBA videos every single day. NBA, I'd argue, is my best sport. Statistically, is my best sport. We've dominated. We're going to dominate this season. You can use that. Number 2, if you just sign up, you also get another free square. Just make sure you use our code COS at the top of the description or the link at the top of the description, and you'll get that free square. You'll get the LeBron James free square. Depending on what time you sign up, you'll get either a Lamar Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes, or a Jalen Hurts free square. So that's 2 free squares to use. And number 3, the best part, honestly, is if you use our code, you also get a 100% deposit match up to $500. It's a ton of free money, ton of free squares. Take advantage of Underdog Fantasy. We'll have one in the NFL video later on, posted on Saturday. I have a ton of them in the NBA video. So get locked in on Underdog. Here's all the states where Underdog is eligible, and just make sure your state has pick'em, and you can play a lot of these props over there, and you can get that deposit match. Just make sure you use our code COS so they know that we sent you over there. And if you want to just click the link, it should pre-fill that code, but also you'll get those free squares if you use the code. That's the only way you can get them. But let's dive into our favorite picks, though. You didn't come here for that spiel. Diving into my first spread pick of the weekend. Chargers plus 5.5 is my first pick, minus 108 on DraftKings. Now, we think about the Chargers. They are a team that just coming off Monday Night Football. We did fade them. We took the Cowboys. They got it done. Bad loss, another bad loss for Chargers fans out there. I just like them to come into Arrowhead and battle against the Chiefs and keep this game close. This is a big divisional game, obviously coming off a loss for the Chargers, a disappointing start to their year. I think they're going to get this one close, and it wouldn't be surprising if they lost in heartbreaking fashion. That's what the Chargers do. But look at Herbert. He's fared well against Mahomes and the Chiefs. Justin Herbert, 5-1 against the spread versus the Chiefs. He's also 7-0 against the spread as an underdog or 5 or more points, and 10-1 against the spread as an underdog of 3 or more points in his NFL career. He's been really good as an underdog. I'm going to continue to back him here. I think this is a good spot to back him in a bounce back performance for him in the Chargers offense, which didn't really look great on Monday Night Football. But also more Charger stats. We talked about they play close games. That's what they do. The Chargers have played 23 games since the start of last season. 18 of them have finished within 7 points. That is a crazy number. They just love playing those close games. They love ripping the soul out of their fans. And I just think this is another close game in Arrowhead. Sure, the Chiefs are coming off, a lot of extended rest. Their last game was Thursday Night Football, but this is still a team, and sure, they played great, with extended rest, but this is a Chargers team that I just think will keep the game close. They've been able to do that. They've lost 3 games this year by 2, 3, and 3 points. Wouldn't be surprised if they lose this one again by 3. Now, their offense, obviously now down Mike Williams, still trying to figure things out. I just think they'll be able to do it against the Chiefs defense. And the Chargers defense on the other side is quietly, not played great. I'm not saying they're great, but they have some good, things that I can hang my hat on. They are currently allowing the 4th lowest third down conversion percent at just 33.3%. They also have 21 sacks, the 3rd most in the NFL. So some things that you can say, oh, that's pretty good. Now they will give up their fair share of passing yards, and they will give up, Mahomes. I'm not going to say they're going to clamp him. That's not happening. They'll give up points to Mahomes in that offense, but at the same time, I don't trust this Chiefs offense a ton, given that they don't really have a lot of reliable playmakers besides Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco's played pretty well, but outside of them, they're relying on guys, Justin Watson now out, relying on guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling to step up, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. We've seen those guys are not consistently reliable. And while I'm not saying the Chiefs lose this game, I think that we'll see the Chargers give them all they got. And I think they keep this one within a field goal. You look at the Chiefs, the last 4 games, they really haven't played a lot of stiff competition. They played the Bears, congrats. Almost lost to the Jets, arguably probably could have lost that game. Played the Vikings and the Broncos, 4 teams that are just not looking all too great. Jets obviously looking good, and they gave them all they had, lost that game by 3, the Jets did. So I like the Chargers plus the 5.5. Now let's keep it moving. I'm going to do a teaser. We've done really well on these teasers. Normally, I'm kind of doing like a same game parlay type thing. This one is an organic teaser. If you've never placed a teaser, I kind of walk you through it on your book. But here's what we're doing. We're taking the Lions +9 and the Seahawks -1.5. This is a 6-point teaser. So instead of going into your book and trying to find, the alt spreads to find how to place this, actually, you probably get better odds taking it like this. How you do it, if you're on DraftKings, which is where we are, you go to DraftKings, you just click the regular spread, which would be, in some cases, Lions +3 and Seahawks -7.5. Then when you get to the parlay portion where you could parlay them, although I don't want that parlayed, you click the teaser button and it'll give you a chance to do a 6-point teaser. You can do even more than that, 6.5, 7. I'll just do 6 because I think that's safe enough. This is -120. I like both these two teams to cover the regular line, but I'd rather just take it here for a little bit of safety. And let's first start with Detroit, who's going to kick off at 1. Seahawks will kick off around 4:05. You look at since week 9 of last season, the Lions have been a different program. They've been really good. The Lions 13-3, just straight up, not with the points. They've lost games by 3, 6, and 14 points. Their only loss this season, actually, funny enough, came against the Seahawks, who's the other side of this teaser. The Ravens, who they will face on Sunday, are 4-2. Haven't got a good start. They're coming off a London trip, so we'll see if they're a little jet lagged. I don't really think they will be, but that always can affect teams. And it's also a team that they just haven't been, dominating teams. They had to beat that Titans team by 9, or 8, which still would cover the +9 we got here. They had to kick 6 field goals. It's just a Ravens team that is just struggling to finish in the red zone, going up against a very good, very underrated, no longer being really underrated, given how good they've performed the last couple weeks, Lions defense. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge. The cornerbacks are playing well. They got rookies playing well. They got the linebackers playing well. It's just a really, really good defense, and I think they can keep them in this game. I know the Lions will be down David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs appears to be ready to go to handle a large workload. Yeah, I bet probably not handling a huge workload. They just like to troll. That's what Dan Campbell loves to do. But still, I think that Jared Goff has shown the ability to keep them close in games, regardless of how, the run game is going. I think Jared Goff can keep them close. I like them at +9. I like them at +3 too. I know a lot of people will be on them as an underdog money line. I don't necessarily know if they win this game outright, but I think they keep this one within 7 points, which will be the first leg of the teaser. And hopefully they get that done. And then we'll move on to the later on slate where we need the Seahawks -1.5. Now, after a solid start to the year for the Cardinals, they've hit the rock bottom. I mean, you look at that start to the year, lost by 4 to the Commanders, 3 to the Giants, and even beat the Cowboys by 12. Yeah, since then, they haven't really looked too great. They've lost 3 in a row by 19, 14, and 17 points. Obviously, in a divisional game, they're going to play this one tough, but the Seahawks are also a team that needs a bounce back this week, just like the Cardinals do. I mean, the Seahawks coming off a game in Cincinnati where they could have beaten the Bengals. They were gifted so many opportunities, just could not convert in the red zone and win that game and ended up losing it. We saw last year the Seahawks were able to handle business against the Cardinals. Arguably, that team was a lot better than this year's version of the Cardinals, but they won those games 19-9 and 31-21. I think to get back to running the football, which is how you can beat the Cardinals. And we saw this season, the Seahawks 3-2 with wins of 6, 10, and 21. I just think this is a team that bounces back. They lost in week 1 to the Rams, bounced back in week 2 against the Lions. Today, we're combining both these two teams who faced off in week 2. Lions +9, Seahawks -1.5, a 6-point teaser, -120. I like our chances here. I think both these two teams will keep the games close. Hopefully the Seahawks actually smoke the Cardinals. I also think the Lions keep that one close. So we'll take that little teaser, see if it does. If it does hits well, we'll come back next week with another teaser. But last but not least, let's talk about 2 player props. I'll save the 1.5 unit play for second because this one's actually going to go to a game we already talked about, Chargers and Chiefs. I'm backing a Los Angeles Charger. Taking Austin Eckler just to score a touchdown. Anytime touchdown score, +106 on Caesars. Yeah, that plus value. Yeah, I imagine it does not last. If you're watching this on Sunday morning, I'd be very surprised if that's plus value. Personally, I'd play it to about -125. Personally, I think the line should be closer to -150, but given how the state of the Chargers offense, how they did last week, Eckler didn't score a touchdown last week. I think they're giving you decent odds. But I would be surprised if normally Austin Eckler is a touchdown prop in like the -175 range. I mean, this is the guy that when they get in close, he's their goal line back. He also can get a receiving touchdown too. I just don't know why the odds were +106 on Caesars, which is why we're putting a unit on it. We're talking about a guy that over his last 17 games, Eckler touchdown in 14 of them. He has 21 total touchdowns over that time span. He has a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 versus the Chiefs. Sure, he didn't score last week. It's not like he didn't have chances. Got some goal line work, just couldn't punch it in against a stout Cowboys defense. And sure, the Chiefs have a stout defense as well, but an over-under at 47.5, a very high one. I think it might be one of the highest on the slate. I don't remember the Eagles, what that over-under was, but I still do think they're going to score some points. Hopefully Eckler is helping us cash his anytime touchdown score prop. and also helping us cash the Chargers plus 5.5. I obviously think they keep this one close. Eckler, go get in the end zone. Great first name, Austin. We're counting on you. Go get a score touchdown. I don't care how many yards you get. It could be a 1 yard touchdown. I don't care. Give me the touchdown plus 106. And finally, my player prop, my favorite one of the weekend, a 1.5 unit play. I don't really think I'll have any 1.5 unit plays in Saturday's video, but check out that one. Is going to be DeAndre Swift of the Philadelphia Eagles over 13.5 rushing attempts, minus 120 on BetMGM. Now, if your line is 13.5, personally, I play that to right around minus 130 or so. If it does go up to 14.5, which honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it did, I would only play that for 1 unit. Obviously, you'll hear why, because there has been a game Swift has ended the season with exactly 14 rushing attempts. But let me talk about this one and why it's my favorite play of the weekend, where I see the Eagles trying to reestablish the run game against a very, very high-powered Dolphins team coming into town. Obviously, the Eagles coming off a loss to the New York Jets. But let's talk about over the last 5 weeks. Swift has taken over this backfield, become their running back one. Last 5 weeks, 28, 16, 14, 17, and then only 10 carries last week for, I think, about 18 or 20 yards. The Jets bottled up the run game, made Jalen Hurts pass. We saw last week, Jalen Hurts, 45 pass attempts. Yeah, I'm not the Eagles head coach, but I don't really think that's what they want to be doing. If Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball 45 times, probably a good chance they're losing that game, and I just don't see that as a recipe for success, especially against a high-powered Dolphins attack. I think the Dolphins want to get into a shootout. I mean, this is a team averaging nearly 500 total yards of offense. That can't be what the Eagles' game plan will be coming into this game. They're going to want to run the football, keep the ball in their hands, and control the time of possession, limit those Dolphins' possessions, and take their chances against them on the Dolphins' defense, which plays a lot of too high safety looks. By playing too high safety looks, they take away a lot of those deep plays. They leave a lot of stuff open the middle, and they leave open the run game. And I think that's what the Eagles are going to get back to doing. Their best offensive weapon is the running game, and that offensive line. Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson should be back. He was a limited practice participant, should be back out there, and I think they get back to running the football. Well, I don't mind, DeAndre Swift's over in rush yards, which is about 60.5. I'd rather go the attempts, because I think he has to get 14 attempts to get that. But you look at running backs, they've had actually some decent success versus Miami. You look at their total rushing attempt numbers. You got Panthers had 24 attempts last week. I think Chuba Hubbard had 19. You saw the Giants have 21, Bills 22. You saw the Patriots have 20, but you saw Broncos 19, Chargers 32. Teams have had success running the football against the Dolphins. The problem is a lot of those games they've been absolutely getting smoked. I mean, think about the Broncos game. They lost by 50. You've seen some other games. The Patriots were down a lot in that game. The Bills were the one team that smoked the Dolphins. But other than that, Giants were really down early. Panthers, sure, they got up early, but second half they were really down the whole game. So still teams have had success against this Dolphins attack or defensive line. I think you're going to see this. Eagles have to get back to running the football. Jalen Hurts will get his rush attempts, no doubt about that. Kenneth Gainwell will get a couple there, but you look at the last 3 weeks, Swift handled 41 of the 56 rush attempts by the running backs. Obviously, I'm not stupid. Jalen Hurts will get his rushing attempts too, but they're going to have to account for him. I think Swift has some open lanes up the middle, and he's got this number one spot locked in. I really think this line should be closer to 14.5 juice on the over, maybe even 15.5. So I'll play it for 1.5 units. Let's hope the Eagles get up early in this game. Obviously, be great game skipped, but I really don't see them getting blown out at home. Coming off a loss already. Dolphins traveling on the road against a really good team, and the Eagles, they're going to bounce back. Hopefully that leads to Swift getting 14 rush attempts for 1.5 units. My biggest play likely of the weekend. But as always, those are my 4 favorite picks of the day. Once our player props video that goes live on Saturday is live, I'll link it on the screen. For now, you can go check out our college football picks video. You can go check out some other videos on our second channel as well. This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Let's have a dominant week 7. I'm feeling the good vibes are in the air. Let's dominate. Let's go 4-0 in this video, and let's sweep our other player props we have in the other videos. As always, if you want to let me know your favorite picks down below, do that as well. It's Austin. I'm signing out. Peace.